All right, got to thinking about this the last couple of days here, just in regards to like the pace of things here the last 22, 3, 4 weeks for me. Never feel like I catch up. Things are going 100 miles an hour, never enough time for this and that. I constantly feel like pushed with the pace, with everything, and just kind of playing catch up all the time. Never feel like you're ahead of the game. And you start to question a little bit. I know I have. What's the point to all this stuff? Like that pace, that level of stress, no matter what the return, quote unquote, is, it doesn't seem like enough on there because at least I know for myself, like I'm sacrificing something, my quality of life, time with my family, my health, you name it, for X. And whatever X is, achievement, a dollar, prestige, whatever that thing is that you think is going to kind of fill you up in some degree is not truly a fair trade for what you're actually saying no to. Everything you say yes to, you actually say no to something else on there. It sounds corny, but there's a lot of truth to that. And I really look at like the most successful people truly are people not with the most amount of stuff, but the people who've learned to hold the standard to the boundaries that they've set on there. And they have a discipline to that. The ability to say no to things that don't align with who they are, and ultimately what's a priority to them and where they're going in their life are the ones that are winning. And I've found that more and more with time. And the more that I feel like I've gotten something, I've gotten the thing I've chased after, all of a sudden you catch it and you realize this really doesn't fill me up on there. Makes you have a little more introspective look into the purpose and the meaning behind things on there. So I don't know, like the thing I've realized the last couple of weeks is like I need a chance to slow down. The only time I get introspective is when I slow down, when I get still, when I get silent, when I truly unplug with stuff and don't feel that compulsion, that need to constantly push. Because that constant need to push is a distraction, it's a Band-Aid covering up the problem. Essentially, it's no different than any other addiction, whether it's alcohol or drugs. Like that need to push, that busyness that we all wear as a badge of honor. It's not a badge of honor. What it is an addiction. It's an addiction to chaos to some degree, and an avoidance of what really you should be spending your time, your energy, and your resources on there. So, what I'm saying here is this: is like, especially a lot of dudes right now, like there's this thing that we all feel like achievement's going to fill us up. Like if I get that, whatever that thing is, I'll feel better about myself. When in all reality, again, that's a drug to just cover up how you feel, the lack of self-worth and freedom that you don't have. You're trying to cover that up on there. And until you slow things down, until you make some sacrifices in your life, until you surrender to some degree that's not it, you will never find it on there. And I've kind of come to this conclusion the hard way over time. And I'll come to the conclusion, then I'll fall back in the trap. I'll come to the conclusion, fall back in the trap. When in all reality, like that discontent is my mind, my body, my heart, my soul, whatever you want to call it, trying to tell me something, trying to tell me I'm on the wrong path on there. And trust me when I say this, like hard work and things that are difficult are mandatory. They're not good for you. They're mandatory for you. But there's also there's a certain blend there between like hard things and still finding joy in stuff. And the joy piece comes from the hard work spent on the things that matter and things that build you up as a person, not just an accolade that you hang on the wall that builds your pride in some capacity on there. So what I'm saying is this is like, take some stock over your life. What truly matters to you. If you wrote things down, like what brings you joy? I'm not in a whole camp of like, you only do things that make you happy, because that's complete BS as well too. Like what brings you joy and how much your life is a reflection of that. How much stuff aligns with that and puts you in a spot where those things are the priority. And those things are the things you say yes to. And you're not just saying yes to the things that get you this superficial, artificial high dopamine rush because you can beat your chest a little bit that I found, quote unquote, this or accomplished this type of deal. That ain't going to do it. But first things first, you got to slow down. You got to find some silence. You got to find some time just for you. And you got to start saying freaking no to some stuff that you keep saying yes to on there. Without the no's, you can't find the real yes type of thing. that yes, that real thing that's really, really you, that's deep down inside, that needs to be a yes, is the thing that's going to fill you up. And I had a conversation with a guy I've known for quite a while last night, and this kind of reiterated this to me again. That's why I'm doing this video. He was talking about, the guy was literally a 7-figure earner at what he did. From the outside looking in, he had his crap together. He even said that. He goes, from the outside looking in, I had what I wanted, and I was doing what other people wish they were doing, type of thing. But he goes, I was really, really unhappy and really not content with what I was. I was living in the fast lane type of thing. I was constantly working, constantly, what's next, what's more, what's the thing that I don't have that I want right now? How do I compare myself to these other people? It was a constant comparison game, not only with other people, but who he was right then and there, and where he was at. And he finally got to a point. He actually had an aneurysm, brain aneurysm, and obviously when you have a significant health thing that could possibly kill you, it wakes you up sometime to the fact that, my time is limited. What do I want to spend my time on? And what he was doing wasn't that. He realized, like, when he had to answer the question, he was not finding joy and peace and fulfillment in life. He was finding achievements that gave him a little bit of rush, then right back into the misery again, type of thing that was on there. And he finally walked away from what he was doing for the most part. I was talking to him last night, and it's been 2 years basically since he made that choice, which, like he said, it was pretty scary. His lifestyle had to change pretty abruptly on it. But he said the last 2 years have been the happiest 2 years of his entire life. He's actually enjoyed life to some degree. He still works hard. He still puts the time in, but he's putting his time into things now that align with where he truly wants to go, not just physically and tangibly, but where he wants to go as a person. What's the legacy you want to leave? Who's the person you want to become? When you put the time into that, that's what fulfills you. That growth during that fulfills you. And ultimately, those things that you find that fulfill you are things that serve a greater good. They serve outside of you. They're not just a self-ego fulfilling deal. There's something that builds up and moves the people around you forward. It moves a cause forward in some degree on there. And you don't need to go start a nonprofit. You don't need to go serve in some disciple group type of deal. But what do you do that's greater than you on there? And I think that's the thing. Like, you only find that, you only get that when you slow the heck down. You simplify your life. You quiet the noise around you. And ultimately, at the end of the day, like, when you do that, you will find what you're looking for. But until you do that, the busyness, the chaotic piece of your life, it's just constantly numbing you to the pain that you feel. It's also the distraction that doesn't allow you to hear the voice per se when God's trying to tell you something on there. So that's the thing. Slow down. Quit pushing so dang hard. What you're pushing for isn't it. I guarantee you that. Slow down and listen to something. Find what really actually fills you up and move that way. Align yourself that way. That's how you find fulfillment at the end of the day.